Kia ora te whānau. Ko James te kauwhaku hipalai taku I no wā. Ko Tainui te waka. Ko Maune tapu taku mauna. Ko Maitai te awa. Ko Ngā te Kuata, Ngā te Tahu, Ngā te Toa, Raua, Ngā te Kuia, Oku Iwi. Ko Takapuaihia, Raua, Whakatū, Oku Marae. Nō rewa, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Fellow Toastmasters, distinguished official witnesses. The topic of my speech today is effective conflict resolution. By way of introduction, not only is my name James Hippolyte, I belong to Manukau City Baptist Church Toastmasters Club, which is in the 03-04 area, which is fortunate because I'm area director of 03. Why is that fortunate? Because my four clubs, which are Pahutakawa Coast, Pakuranga, Elim and Howick, I can love them equally because I don't belong to them. And because there's a couple of them in the audience, I have to say that. I've also been married 25 years, and that is relevant to my topic, which is effective conflict resolution. Why is that relevant? Because in 25 years of married life, I have found every way imaginable about how not to effectively resolve conflict. But over the course of that 25 years, I finally did get some light. Now, in my preparation for this, I realised there was a dynamic tension between two virtues. What are they? Boldness and meekness. What? I'm glad you asked. Boldness is confidence that I don't have to say or do is right, just and fair. Meekness is willingness to put down my own rights or expectations in order to serve others. Now, boldness and meekness are not opposites of each other. The opposite of boldness is fearfulness. And the opposite of meekness is anger, especially anger in service of self. I get angry because I'm not getting myself getting what I think I deserve. The opposite of that is meekness. So boldness and meekness are two virtues in dynamic tension, but not in conflict. What has that got to do with anything? Well, let me explain the first lesson I got. And this was early in our marriage, shortly after the honeymoon phase when nothing could go wrong. And we're starting to settle in and trying to work out how to live together. And upon occasion, my wife would ask me to go and do something that I didn't want to do. Now, the mature thing to have done would be to say, no, I don't want to do that, and here's why, and have a reasonable excuse in which she would ignore that anyway and still want me to do it. But the immature way of handling that is what's called passive aggression. And by passive aggression, what does that mean? It means ignoring the request and hope it goes away. And it didn't. And this doesn't resolve the conflict. Why? Because the problem hasn't gone away, the thing still needs to be done, and I look like an idiot because I haven't communicated why I don't want to do it because I don't have good reason. Right? So, passive aggression is not successful conflict resolution. The better way to handle things, I later discovered, was that you need to state what the problem is, just using words. And before I joined Toastmasters 3 years ago, my greatest role model was Gibbs from NCIS, who was a functional mute. He was great at his job, but he just stared at people and got them to confess, right? That was my model. That's what I wanted to do. After joining Toastmasters, I realised that actually talking to people is a lot more effective. So stating the problem is an important first step in trying to resolve your conflict. It's where you can dispassionately state the facts of the case. But the second step is equally as important, and that's tell your feelings about the problem. And this is where you can put the problem into perspective. This is where you can actually show how the problem impacts you. This is where you can put it, give it some level of importance or priority. The third step is to specify the solution. Now, specifying the solution to another human being implies that you're asking them to help you resolve the situation. They're part of the resolution. Otherwise, if they're not part of the resolution of the problem, you don't need to talk to them about it, you just get on and do it yourself. So specifying the solution and involving them and asking them for the help. And the fourth part of the resolution is to describe the benefits or the consequences of resolving the issue. We will therefore be able to do X, Y, Z. Now, it takes time to begin to put all of these steps into place. And I still didn't quite get it. And another failed example was my passive waiting for vendors to do what they said they were going to do. So I would order a product or a good, and they would give me a date, and I would wait for the date. And then on the date, and nothing has happened, then I'd wonder, or maybe it's in the mail, and I'll wait a few more days. And meanwhile, my wife is saying, until X happens, honey, we can't do Y. So what are you doing about it? I said, I'm waiting for the vendor. I said, why are you waiting? Ring them up! Use your words. Oh yeah. So, foolish me, I didn't realise it was within my power to be able to get on top of the situation. Now, in my own job, I'm a computer programmer, and I get incidents that come in that I have to resolve. And sometimes I get more incidents than I can handle in an 8-hour day. So therefore I have to prioritise those incidents. How do I prioritise those incidents? By who screams the loudest. Literally. So if you don't scream, you go to the bottom of my pile. Now if I do that in my work, why should I expect the vendors to do any differently? If they're happy to take my money and I'm passive, then, and if they're busy, I'll go to the bottom of their queue. It's the old cliche, which is true, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. Finally, I've learned my lesson about how to diffuse conflict or resolve conflict effectively. And I knew I got it right one day in my work situation. I was working alongside another developer, and this guy is brilliant with computers, not people. This is a cliche, but it's a true cliche. Sometimes some people are better at talking to computers than they are to people. I'm the exception. So he and I had done something that he didn't like, and he exploded at me in the workplace, in the open plan office. And I took it. I listened to what he had to say. I took out the emotion, and I said, well, how are we going to resolve this? And we worked, I diffused him, and we were able to work through the problem to resolve this. And I didn't quite realise how much this meant until two separate team members took me aside and said, how the heck, James, were you able to stay calm in that situation? And I realised, aha, I've reached a level of which I was happy. So, in conclusion, the way to effectively resolve conflict is state the problem, tell how you feel about it, specify a solution, and describe the positive consequences of complying with the solution. I'll probably add there that I'm using the word positive consequences. I'm not a huge believer in trying to guilt trip the other person by telling them the negative consequences of their non-compliance. To me, that's manipulation, and that is not a positive way to resolve the situation. Thank you very much.